Dr. McLeod's devotional is on a relationship with God.
You are saved or go deeper into a relationship with God through a relationship with God. Your relationship with God. We have all sorts of people who come up with creeds that say if you believe this, you will be saved. And that may well be true. But the problem is, your emphasis should be on your relationship with God, not on creed. The Bible says in Micah 6:8, God has showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. To walk humbly with thy God is a relationship. Now, what we have in the church is an emphasis very often on a lot of recipes for finding God, or recipes telling about God, but there is not the emphasis on a relationship with God. And you're never really going to get too far into God or into any understanding God until you begin to build and develop a relationship with God. Creed is an intellectual experience. Nothing is wrong with intellectual experiences. But a relationship is a personality to personality, spirit to spirit, entity to entity, emotional relationship. But you may say God is difficult to develop a relationship with because he does not talk. What we forget is, yes, God is above all languages. When God speaks in the Bible, it is a translation. But usually God is speaking through images and through signals. If you know the way the translator for the deaf-mute translates with his or her hands what the minister or the speaker is saying, then you have a better idea of how God communicates. God communicates through signals and signs and images that are doctrine. God communicates through the birth of Jesus. This means an incarnation of God into man. The incarnation is not so much verbalized, but it is a picture, an image, a symbol. You must look for symbols, feelings, relationships with God. If you don't have any time every day to build some sort of relationship with God, you will be a spiritually poor person. Now, it is popular all over the world to talk about poverty, and certainly material poverty is very bad. But so is spiritual poverty of people who just do not understand spiritual truths. And ultimately, it is going to be on man's understanding of spiritual truths that he survives. If he learns spiritually to be a peacemaker, he may survive. If he learns spiritually to get along with others and to care for them, he has a better chance of survival. Now, what about creeds? Nothing wrong with creeds. Fine thing to have. Many churches have different ones. And that is okay. Everybody is looking for the right and the best creed, of course, but people's idea of right and the best and what is satisfying to them is widely different. So you should not so much worry about whether others have the right creed, which is secondary, but whether they have the right relationship with God, which is primary. For if they have the right relationship with God, then they will care about others. They will tolerate. They will give meaning and spiritual purpose to their lives. Our creeds are good and true, but our relationship with God is what counts. The love of God is complete and filling and understanding. The best example of it is a baby's love. A baby's love is unconditional, it is innocent, and it reaches out to you. You can have a relationship with love like you do with a baby without having to communicate deep intellectual verbal thoughts. And man is saved by a relationship with God in which there is mutual love and concern felt. We have to learn with God that He does not communicate with us in direct language, but He communicates with signals and images and feelings and an awareness of it. Now, some people cannot pick up, they are not aware of a relationship with God. These people are best left until they can experience enough grace or given enough grace to experience or see or pick up these signals from God. Edgar Casey said to make your heart a chapel. Build a relationship through prayer, study, being by yourself, and creative Christian thinking. A Christian with a true relationship with God is not going to be just one more conventional, super traditional Christian. Whoever thinks creatively is important. If you will remember the life of Jesus, He was constantly giving stories and insights and teachings that people could understand. Like the Good Samaritan, He was thinking, and you could see from His thinking what He was saying. A good relationship with God does not end in stagnant acceptance of a creed. It makes the relationship, helps to build a creative Christianity. It helps to make you think in and along Christian lines. Don't assume, because that is an error of logic, that what is good or what is not